Hey guys, it is Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about feelings of numbness and post-traumatic stress disorder. And unfortunately, I am running behind today. So I'm actually driving to the office, and I figured I would go ahead and do the video in the car, because by the time I get to the office, it's going to be time to see clients and not do YouTube videos. So I figured that we would talk about feelings of numbness and kind of what that means. And I want to talk about it from a clinical perspective, but I also want to talk about it from a spiritual and existential perspective as well. So thank you so much, guys, for coming back to my channel. For those who are subscribed, and for those who are new, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, because you're not going to get these kind of videos from any other therapists on YouTube. I'm almost sure about that, because I'm crazy and I multitask and I do YouTube videos in my car. And I'm not sure that any other therapist on YouTube does this ridiculous stuff. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, just because it's fun watching this, right? I wish you could be in this car with me, where you could see, like, I have one hand on the steering wheel and then I'm looking down at my phone every now and then when there's no traffic in front of me. But this is how dedicated I am to this channel, so I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and stick around with us. What are the benefits for you today? Well, they are just that I want to talk about the feelings of numbness from an existential and clinical perspective. And I want to highlight some of the things that you're likely to experience when you're feeling numb. So let me see if I can see you without my, yeah, I can see you without my glasses. So, all right, guys, so what is numbness to you? When you think about feeling numb emotionally and psychologically, what is that for you? And what does that feel like for you? You know, because I think a lot of people, you know, they feel numb and they don't know what to do about those feelings. And they don't know what to do in terms of helping themselves process grief and loss, helping themselves process trauma. So because of that, you know, most people who are feeling numb, they usually just try to live with it. And then they just wait until the time is right for them to, you know, feel things. You know, there's a song, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the description box below, and it talks about feeling numb and what that's like. And what I like about the song, one of the things I like about the song is that it highlights that when you are feeling numb, it's almost like you are dissociating, right? It's almost like you are letting go of reality, and you are trying to defend, for lack of a better word, right? Defend your emotions, and you are bringing up a defensive wall, and you know, you are trying to protect your emotions and your mindset in the moment, and in a certain circumstance, because you can't handle it. So what do? Well, you kind of dissociate and you dissipate into space, and you become very detached from life. You feel kind of like you are hiding, right? I've had clients say to me, I'm hiding. I've also had clients say things like, I feel dead. I feel like, you know, there's nothing to me but a robotic mindset and emotional system, you know? And so feeling numb can really last for a long time. There's no time frame that we can put on that. You know, I would like to say that you're going to be numb for a year and then you're going to start feeling again. That may never happen. You may remain numb for a long time, or you may remain numb until you can find the strength to move on and to heal and to cope and live life again. So it's really hard to determine how numb you're going to be and for what duration and period of time. But the good news is that when you finally do gain some perspective and you recognize that, okay, I am numb and I need to feel again, I think the process of healing starts there. It's only when you don't have that recognition and that awareness that numbness lasts for a while. So let's talk about what that is. We're also going to talk this week about amnesia and psychogenic amnesia. So we're not talking about the medical amnesia. We're talking about the psychogenic amnesia, meaning that there's some psychology and some trauma and some psychiatric foundations to the amnesia. So we're going to talk about that as well this week. I thought I would just throw that in there. So by feelings of numbness? Well, the first thing I think that we need to think about is a phenomenon known as learned helplessness. Learned helplessness, okay? That can stir feelings of numbness, just feeling helpless to everything and feeling like, there's nothing that you can do to change things. Feeling that there is nothing that you can do to rectify a situation, right? You begin to feel helpless. You also begin to develop what's called an external locus of control. And that's basically when you begin to attribute your own success and your strengths and your values and your abilities to external things, right? You feel that you don't have the internal ability to do certain things. So you attribute your success and your good fortune, your blessings to things outside of you, right? Because you don't feel that you have the internal ability to deal with it or to handle it, right? So you can develop learned helplessness, and extending from learned helplessness is what's called an external locus of control. The next thing that you can develop is what's called dissociative disorders. Dissociative disorders. And we're going to talk more about that this week, because there's a phenomenon known as dissociative amnesia. And that's when you dissociate so much that you absolutely forget who you are. You forget your identity. And I'm not talking about just some periodic and some momentary mental blindness. I'm talking about dissociative amnesia to a point of being unable to remember who you are, what you stand for, what your property is, right? What your possessions are. You do really lose an aspect of yourself in such a way that it is brain fog. You don't know. So you can develop dissociative amnesia. All right, that's another way that we kind of get numb. We forget who we are, and it can turn into a diagnosis of amnesia. The other thing I think that we need to add in here is depersonalization. Everything around you begins to feel false. You feel like you're walking in a story. You don't feel like you're in a reality. You feel like you are somewhere else, and like you have no ability to contribute to your reality because you're walking in a story, you're walking in a book, right? Things are happening to you and you have no ability to change it. So depersonalization can also add to feelings of numbness, okay? And we also can't forget depression. Depression in and of itself can lead to numbness and a form of amnesia in a sense. There's various levels of depression, and I think I've talked about it on this channel before. If not, I will add some things in the description box for you to read, but there are several kinds of depression. Depression is not always just the sadness and this general sadness and this general inability to feel, sleep disturbance and appetite disturbance, and it's not just that, right? Depression can turn into psychosis. Depression can turn into psychotic behaviors like schizophrenic behaviors, hallucinations, and delusions. Depression can also bring about medical conditions like heart disease and diabetes and other terminal illnesses such as cancer. Depression can be really severe if it's not treated, and it can lead to a general sense of numbness, emotional numbing. We also can't forget the medication that sometimes clients and patients are placed on, which can also cause general numbness, right? So you're trying to heal from a trauma, you're trying to heal from a very painful experience, and you get depressed and anxious and you need medication. Well, unfortunately, that medication can lead to general numbness because it's too strong for you, or that's one of the side effects, which is to deaden your emotions so you can process logically. So there are a lot of ways that we can perceive numbness. There's a lot of ways that we can actually experience numbness. We can experience it organically, so coming from within, or we can experience it externally and experience by way of medication and things that we're doing that way as well. So emotional numbness in terms of a clinical sense involves everything that I just discussed. Now, if we're talking about numbness in the sense of existentialism and spiritualism and spirituality, I should say, then I think that feeling of numbness really has a lot to do with the processes of your mind. What is going through your mind, right? What is going through your heart, and what is kind of holding and possessing your soul, right? what are you incorporating into your life on a daily basis? Are you incorporating good, healthy things? Or are you feeding yourself negative, depressing, and harmful things, right? Are you around people who have a critical and negative outlook on life, right? A critical perspective of you. I think that we can have what's called emotional vampires all around us, right? At our jobs, and our families, and our social circles. And those vampires can make us or break us. They can kill us emotionally and psychologically, right? They have a certain way that they see us. They are very much detached from our true identity, and so they judge us and they prejudge us, right? So those kind of people in our lives can lead to emotional numbing, right? Because you don't want to feel what they have to say. You don't want to feel their negativity towards you. You don't want to feel, right, the sucking of the life out of you that they do, right? So you just kind of put up your walls and your defenses, and you get numb, right? So, you know, that can also happen with television. It can also happen with social media, what you're reading, what you're digesting. So I think it's important to be aware of that as well, guys, that whatever we're ingesting via music, television, movies, cinema, you know, friends, social groups, social forums, online forums, social media, you know, whatever it is that we are, no problem. Whatever it is that we are digesting, it can really numb us, and it can really make us feel pretty dead. So yeah. So guys, this was a 10-minute drive and a 10-minute video. I really hope it was helpful to you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if it was helpful, and I'm going to come back on Wednesday with a normal video in my office, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about numbing and PTSD and psychogenic amnesia. All right, guys, I'll see you then. Have a great day, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.